Yes, people. Yes, people. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're all doing well. We are back again for another session in the charts, breaking things down, looking at price action, and basically assessing how the market is moving for the New York session. So I'm super excited to break this thing down. I'm super excited to actually just look at the charts today. I feel like the price action is really moving nice. And I'm just really kind of looking forward to seeing how we can break this thing down. What I want to do first and foremost, though, real quickly, is to check out the news. And as you can see, tentative. So what was scheduled for, I think, 3 p.m. today, I think that was, has now been moved to tentative. I'm not sure when that's going to happen or if it is going to happen. It says here government data may be impacted by the shutdown. So yeah, that's not going to happen. That's probably not going to happen. So we have another government shutdown, guys. So this is very, very fascinating in terms of how we expect price action to move essentially. So we'll trade with caution. But once that says tentative, I don't think that's going to happen now. So government shutdown again, which means we could see the effect in the charts. Let's just see how it does affect the charts. We're going to have to look at price action and kind of gauge it from there. Nonetheless, it doesn't stop what we do. It doesn't stop how we approach the market. We do the same thing every day, approaching the market from a higher time frame perspective, breaking things down and creating an if-then position, which is probably the most powerful position you can be in as a trader, where you get to a point and you say, if the market does this, I will do that. And if it does that, I will do this. Being reactionary in life is not good, but in trading it is very, very good. In trading, you're better off learning how to react to price showing its hand, right? What makes a good trader is a person that can wait for price to show its hand, and from there, we can then begin to make our move. So we want to react to price action. We don't want to. There's an element of anticipating price action, but there's also an element of reacting based on what price action shows us. All right. So we're going to do the same thing here today. You're going to see how this all falls in place. And I'm super excited to get tucked in. So let's go straight to the monthly time frame, because remember, the higher time frame is what we're going to use to get a bird's eye view. All right. So we're going to assess this from the higher time frame, and we're going to do a bird's eye view of how we expect, or just basically a bird's eye view that kind of shows us where we think the market is going from a bird's eye perspective, right? The higher time frame is always going to be the heavier time frame. So you want to be making decisions that go with your higher time frame, or you want to make a decision that fits within the context. Keyword there, context. And I'll just kind of highlight what I mean here. For example, you could have a contextual analysis on the higher time frame that says we are bullish, right? But for the day, maybe we are bullish contextually, but for that particular day, New York could be bearish. But you're okay taking a bearish move because you understand that within the context of a bullish market. I hope that makes sense. So yes, higher time frame could read bullish, but that would be your context. But price action could lead us for the day as a bearish move within the context of a bullish market. So higher time frames, understanding that can help us develop our context, right? And I think this is really, really important. So we're going to develop that contextual analysis, and then we're going to kind of move on to see how we come to an if-then statement. All right, cool. So number one, monthly time frame. Before we even go to monthly, guys, let's go up a bit higher. Let's go to the 3 monthly and the 6 monthly, right? Because what we see as a monthly liquidity sweep here, I want you to notice that if you go higher to the 6 monthly, that is a 6 monthly liquidity sweep. That's a 6 monthly, right? There it is. And if you go even higher, that is the 12-month liquidity sweep, right? And we know the rules. The rules are very simple. We do not buy against buy side liquidity, okay? So this already helps me in my understanding. I'm sitting there and I'm going, okay, hold on a minute. What am I seeing at the beginning of the year? Look at how price is reacting around this level here. Price has opened up side to side. We put in a low and then we've gone boom and we've taken liquidity. How do I know? Because price, we've seen the wick rejection over here. We're seeing price reject from that point and push back down within the range. So we are seeing sellers come into the market real strong from this point. So from a higher time frame perspective, just from the yearly, I am seeing that sellers are strong from this perspective. So now when I go back to my monthly, I can say, I can understand what's happening now. I can see that we've taken out a 12 monthly high, a 6 monthly high, and sellers are coming strong. And what's happened is, if we look at the monthly, we're going to gauge what's happening on the monthly. Price has opened up with a gap. We gapped up over here. We don't open side to side. We gapped up, right? And then price has already put in a high. Any attempt to go high has stopped at this point over here. So the bulls are not as strong as we saw in January. We're seeing a rejection of the bulls here, okay? And now we're seeing price push to this low point over here, and the buyers have come in slightly over here. But generally speaking, the monthly, we can gauge this based on the fact that we know that we've taken out a 12 monthly high. Buy side liquidity has been taken on the 12 monthly. Sellers have come in strong, right? We've gapped up. The bulls have been rejected here. So there hasn't been much strong bullishness. We've seen they've been rejected. And then we've seen that price has now traded as low as this point during the month. But we're seeing a bit of a pullback. But generally speaking, the volume of trading supports the bears. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say that my monthly analysis, I'm going to say bearish, right? And then I'm going to put my signature in. My signature here is going to be based on the liquidity sweep, the 12-month liquidity sweep. And I'm going to look at it based on the candle formation, right? The candle formation shows me that potentially we may be bearish. Now, please understand, we're not saying we're definitely bearish. Doesn't mean we're going to sell New York session. Doesn't mean, yes, I'm ready to sell. No, all I'm doing is creating a story. I'm trying to understand the story of the day. We could be bearish, but New York could be bullish. So all we're doing is creating a story to give us a context of the market so we know what to do in any given scenario. So let's go to the weekly. So at the moment, I'm holding a monthly bearish idea only because I can see that we've come from this 12 monthly. We've opened up, hit the bulls have rejected at that level. We've traded to this low point. We are getting a bit of a pullback here, but generally the body of the candle is still supporting the bears at the moment. That could change, but that's what I'm just analyzing what I see. All right. So we'll go to the weekly time frame. Now, this is fascinating because what we have here on the weekly, I hope I didn't lose that. Okay, let's bring that back in over here. Cool. What we see on the weekly now, again, we're using price signatures. We're using crumbs that the market leaves us to piece together a story. What we see here is that, look at this candle here the week before. So where we've basically said that price took out the 12 monthly, look at this candle. This particular candle represents strong sellers in the market. So don't be deceived by the color of the candle. Look at the feature of the candle. Strong bearish wick, all right? Small bullish body tells me that sellers were the dominant force in this previous week. And what have we seen? We've seen a continuation of that. We've seen sellers continue to push the market down. Although yesterday it pushed down and it came into this weekly level, which is an FVG. So price found the imbalance and we rejected from this point over here. So the bulls did come back into the market, but we are seeing today that although it found support in this FVG, price has not been able to shoot any higher. So yes, support was found in this FVG and the bulls did come back in a little bit, but they haven't been able to break through, right? Rather, what we're seeing is that the selling pressure that happened the week before, is now continuing through this week, right? So we are going to acknowledge that we have an FVG tap here, but I'm also going to acknowledge that with that FVG tap, we don't have strong bullishness. I would have expected if the bulls were really going to dominate from a weekly picture, I would have wanted to see at this FVG, I would have wanted to see strong bullish movement, or at least something like that, green candle pushing towards the upside. We're not seeing that. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but for now, from what I can see, I don't like the idea of the bulls at the moment. But as we dig in, we'll see what's going on. So what I'm going to put here is for the weekly, I'm going to put bearish, and I'm going to put right again. I'm going to use two things here. I'm going to mention candle formation. That's the first thing I'm going to look at, candle formation. But I'm also going to look at the fact that price, another signature that we may be seeing potentially, is price may be putting in a swing high at this level. So 1, 2, 3, the candles. What makes a swing high is 3 candles, right? Where you got the wick in the middle. I can get my wick in the middle, and the wick to the right and the left. My drawings are not going too well here. Who said I was an artist? So let me explain it real quickly for those of you that are plugged in here. So when we're looking at swing highs, we're looking at the wick in the middle being higher than the one to the left and the right. All right. So here we go. There you have it. All right. So that for me looks like price is creating that. Now it hasn't completed. However, it looks like it's in formation. So again, I'm piecing things together to develop a bias. All I'm trying to do is develop a bias. And so looking at that, I can say potentially we have created some form of structure point over here. Therefore, price maybe, all maybes, no guarantees. Price may be going to downside. So I'm going to put structure, right? Or should put swing high as my second signature, essentially, to determine, to help me develop my bias. So I'm holding a monthly bearish bias, weekly bearish bias. We're using liquidity. And let me also put here, liquidity, previous week liquidity as well. So we're going to look at this and go, previous week. In fact, I'll use 12-month liquidity sweep. So we're going to use the same thing as the monthly, because that is strong selling. Candle formation, you can see the candle of the previous week plus this week as well. Okay, so now let's go. Let's keep on going. Let's go to the 2-day. Go to the 2-day. Now, what do we see? Now, 2-day puts it perfectly. I love that. Now we're really going to see some good confluence here, right? So right now, so far, I've got the monthly bearish and weekly bearish. Let's go to the 2-day. With the 2-day now, what you get here is straight away, my first thought is that swing high has already been put in place. So it's not a case of going back to the weekly and going, oh, we think it's forming. Nah, the 2-day says it's already formed. So again, I'm of the mindset there, straight away, bearish, potentially, no guarantees, bearish. Why? Because for me, the swing high is my signature. Now, so why is a swing high so important? Because I kind of look at the swing high as price topping out. In other words, if you create this move here, what you're saying is price has reached its resistance point, and we're going to need to see strong breaks in order to start looking bull again, or we're going to need to see price give us strong structure breaks to the upside to be convinced that we're going beyond this side again. So the swing high almost acts as a point of reference to suggest that the move to the upside maybe for now is over, and potentially we are swinging to the other direction. That's why it's called, I like the idea of a swing high. A swing high means we've created it, we are swinging potentially to the next direction. And if you create a swing low, potentially we're going to swing higher, and we swing high. So that's what it allows us to do. So I hope that makes sense. So that is a strong reference point for me to potentially say price could be swinging to the downside, right? And then maybe when we reach these levels, we may see price swing again back to the upside, okay? So let me take that off. Cool. So that for me is a very strong signature. And I'm going to hold a bearish bias here. Swing high. That's my one signature. That's all I'm looking at here. There's a potential actually as well that price could be, we might use this as well, order block respect price. Since we've created the swing high, this order block is valid. This last green candle for me, and I can see that price has already created a high on the 2-day over here. 2-day high has been created. So we can also say that we have a 2-day, we have an order block respect. So again, I'm just trying to create and develop a story here. There's no guarantees, but look at what we're doing here. We're trying to develop a story to make an if-then statement, all right? So monthly, weekly, 2-day, daily. Let's go to the daily. So far, bearish, bearish, bearish. From what I can see, I know we're in this FVG, but unless we're going to get strong breaks to the upside, I'm going to maintain the current structure and current movement in the market. All right, another thing here, real quick, I want to just highlight whilst we're going through this top-down analysis. Have you noticed that where we've made the highs, we are not going beyond the highs? So we're not going beyond the highs. What does that mean? That means we're putting in lower highs. And in what type of market do we produce lower highs? In a bearish market. So what I'm going to also do on the 2-day over here, so I'm going to put market structure, right? We're creating lower highs. So we've gone high, lower high, lower high. So really and truly, if we're going to turn around, I would probably want to see this lower high broken. If this FVG is to stand and price is to be bullish, take out the lower high, because in a bearish market, we create lower lows and lower highs. In the bullish market, we create higher highs and higher lows, okay? So that's fascinating as well. Let's go to the daily. Wow, so look at the daily. I love this because what we can see here, this gives us some really good signature. Already, I can tell you that we are holding a bearish bias right here. Bearish bias. Why? Because we are showing here, number one, again, notice that we're not taking out the highs, market structure. So market structure is showing us that we are bearish. And look at today. Look at how today, the high from yesterday has been respected by the high from today. Look at that. So even between yesterday and today, we have created lower highs. So I like the fact that market structure supports the bears. Okay. Not just that, we've also come from the last few days, we can see a strong bearish engulfing pattern. I like that. That's also a good shout. Okay. And I like that. That's good for me. I like it. That's enough for me to say higher time frame, right? My higher time frame position at the moment is bearish, right? Higher time frame. Now, I don't want to go against that unless price is telling me something heavy in the opposite direction. All right. So what I'm going to now do is I'm going to go to my middle time frame, my 4-hour, and I want my 4-hour to essentially support what I'm saying here. So we go to the 4-hour. Does the 4-hour support a bearish bias or a bullish bias? We're going to see. So on the 4-hour, we can see, if we just remove some of these boxes here to clean up the chart. Okay, on the 4-hour, what's the 4-hour telling me? I like the 4-hour. All right, so here's what the 4-hour is telling me. The 4-hour is telling me that from this high, we've been coming lower. We've been moving lower. All right, I like it. So structurally, we're bearish. Market structure is bearish. If the market is to be bullish, which it can be, market can change. We could put in a higher low over here, and we could see price shoot to the upside. But I can't predict what's going to happen. I can't, assume that that's going to happen. I just got to make an assessment on what I can see. And at the moment, price has respected the most recent order block. This order block over here, the market from this swing low moved into this order block, showed respect, and the anticipation is that price will go lower. No guarantees, because price could reverse for New York, right? But at the moment, we would hope that price would respect this order block over here and shoot lower. For now, that looks like the overall flow, but like I said, anything could happen. We'll find out whether this holds or not through the assessment as we go lower. Okay, so if we go to the 1 hour time frame, what do I want to see on this particular time frame that will help me just conclude my bearish idea? So at the moment, I'll just put this as bearish. We had the engulfing, and we had market structure on the order block respect as well. But here's the thing now. We had all of that for the London session. So London, rightly so, has been bearish. What would convince me that price could continue bearish? Here's what would convince me. I would probably want to see, this is what I want to see for price to continue bearish. Number one, there's two things. I'd probably want to see price respect this order block over here, or price break beneath this level over here. If price does one of these two things, right, then I believe price could potentially continue, or price could pull back, respect, and drop. Either one of those two things, I think, is what price may do to go lower. However, if price decides to move higher and break through, then as you know, I'll be looking for moves to the upside. So there's two things here, guys. If we can see between, what's the time now? 12 o'clock, 12:08. If we see price give us a nice engulfing this way, then most likely that previous day level, I want to see some continuation to that previous day level. If price moves back into this area here, I will not be trying to buy it because there's an order block here. Sellers are strong at this point, and price could reverse and drop from this point. All right. So I'm only going to buy this if price breaks beyond London. If price goes beyond that level, I'll look for opportunities to buy. If price drops beneath this level over here, I will look for opportunities to sell. Right. So the right move for London was to sell it in this pullback over here. The right move for New York, the right move for New York is to wait for either a retest, in my opinion, just my opinion, not financial advice, a retest of this level, right? Or for price to continue lower and then give us a retest in this area to go lower. That's my thought process, guys. No guarantees. I'm just sharing top-down analysis on what I would do based on an if-then situation. So, one more time, if price breaks beyond this supply zone right here, this is the seller's defense, last line of defense. Look at it from a perspective of attack versus defense. This is the seller's last line of defense. If we break their last line of defense, my opinion is I'll be looking for opportunities. And when I say break, I mean a strong break with a good close above. That's what would give me the confidence to want to buy. If we get here and we reject, then I'm going to hold the bearish bias towards previous day low. If we decide to not move higher, but to push down from here, I will be looking for potentially to go that way. So that's my thought process, guys. And also, let's not forget, whilst we're here, just before we go, let's look at price, the fact that we've got an FEG right here. So price might not even want to price might not want to even come into this zone. Price might use the FEG over here, and then we see a drop. So my point is, I'm on the seller's side for now. If price continues how it's going, I am a seller for New York. I am a seller. I'm expecting New York to continue the move of London. I'm expecting, and my target will be the previous day low. I'll be expecting price to come to this level and to wipe out the liquidity that's resting underneath this level. So you can see here, guys, price may not even have to go to this supply zone. We have an FEG right here and another one right here. Price can do whatever it wants, but what we can do is develop a bias, and that's what we've done. So price can decide what it wants to do. We can develop a bias, we can control our risk, and we can make a decision on what we think price is going to do and react accordingly. So there it is. There's my There's my overall idea. No guarantees, not financial advice, but this is what I would do in this circumstance. If price comes here, I'm probably going to want to look for rejections. If price drops, I'm probably going to want to look for rejections from here. Or if price breaks up here, then I'm going to look to go higher. So if then I will do that. If this, I'll do that. If that, I'll do this. There we are. There's our position. And trading ought to be like this. You ought to be able to walk in and say, no guarantees, but this is what I would do if price does this. And once you're in that position, you are in a strong position to be able to trade the markets. All right, guys, I hope this has been a blessing. Let's keep learning. Let's keep growing. Let's keep studying, and let's keep breaking this thing down until we can do it in our sleep. Lovely. I'll see you guys in the next stream. Blessings. Have a good day.